The president has said consistently that he will not be watching the trial. He said so again yesterday. But yesterday, the House impeachment managers unveiled videos of the Capitol riot that clearly was very moving to a lot of people. It resonated to a lot of people, including those in that chamber. Is the president really not going to participate at all in this historic experience, this national moment? Does he have nothing he wants to add to those who may have been impacted by what they saw yesterday as part of this trial?
Well, it may seem like some time ago, but the president has spoken repeatedly to the events of January 6th. On January 6th, he called the insurrection at the Capitol an unprecedented assault on our democracy, bordering on sedition. He said it was unlike anything we've seen in modern times. Again, when the House voted on January 13th, following that vote, he called the events of January 6th an armed insurrection against the United States of America that was carried out by political extremists and domestic terrorists who were incited to this violence by President Trump. He has certainly not been silent, and he won't be silent on, of course, his concerns about hate rhetoric and speech and the impact that has in society. And he hasn't been silent on the actions of the former president.
On another matter, the CDC today announced that they find that they have a study that showed that 2 masks are significantly better than 1 in slowing the spread of coronavirus. Will the White House champion the position that Americans should be wearing 2 masks, and is that a behavior that will be modeled perhaps by White House staff?
Well, I've learned a lot about this myself, the issue of studies versus recommendations or specific guidelines, I should say. So this was a study which was a reflection of the importance of well-fitting masks, something that many of our health and medical experts have talked about. It doesn't actually issue definitive guidance on 1 mask versus 2 masks. Obviously, if that's something they were to issue as official guidance, we listen to our health and medical experts. But the study does show that if a person has a loose-fitting mask, that they should consider options to improve that fit. And this includes nose wire, knotting the earlobes on your mask, wearing a cloth mask over a medical procedure or disposable mask, something we do here quite a bit. So the bottom line of that study is actually to improve the fit of the mask, and a second mask is one of several options to be able to do that.
And then just to follow up, and then I'll hand off. In terms of, is there a plan underway for the White House administration to send out masks to Americans, to mail them to addresses, so Americans will have their own high-quality mask when there's often confusion as to what kind should be worn, what offers more protection?
Sure. Well, one, the president uses every opportunity he has, as he did at the Super Bowl, not that he was there, but in the PSA, to make clear to the American people the safety of wearing masks, the impact of wearing masks. He said that it would save 50,000 lives, more than 50,000 lives, if Americans wore them for 100 days. There are a range of options under consideration on to how to ensure that people who need masks the most, people who need this type of protection the most, receive it, but no final decision has been made. Go ahead.
The president's remarks at 1 o'clock on Burma, could you give us a little flavor of what he's going to say? Is he going to announce sanctions?
I've been here long. We're having such fun together. I don't think you want me to get fired on week 3 of my time here as the press secretary. He will have more to say about actions being taken by the United States in response to the coup in Burma.
Just to follow up, he's called for the military coup leaders to stand down. Is there any indication that they are doing that yet?
I don't have a specific update on the actions of the military leaders. Obviously, this is an issue that we are following closely from here, from the State Department, from our entire national security team. As we've noted in here previously, but it's worth repeating, we are also in consultation and close coordination with our partners and allies, and steps that can be taken, pressure that can be made. There's been a statement from the UN Security Council, which is a significant act, as you well know. So I don't have an update on the actions on the ground, but clearly this is on the president's mind, this issue, and it's essential that we lead here from the United States.
Just a second topic. Has the president abandoned a plan to force the sale of TikTok's American operations to a group that would include Oracle and Walmart?
I know there was some reporting on it this morning. I think that you're referencing, I believe, Wall Street Journal. So it's not accurate to suggest that there is a new proactive step by the Biden White House. It looks like there was a conflation of 2 ongoing processes, one that's through the courts and one that is through the CFIUS process that goes through the Department of Treasury. There is a rigorous CFIUS process that is ongoing. I'm not going, of course, not that you're expecting me to, set a precedent of commenting on those reviews in process, but would just stress that they are distinct processes. I will note, broadly speaking, that we are comprehensively evaluating, as we've talked about in here, the risks U.S. data, including from TikTok, the risks to U.S. data, I should say, including from TikTok, and we'll address them in a decisive and effective fashion. But if we have news to announce, we will announce it. So I wouldn't take it as a new step.
Lastly, is there a timetable for this review?
I don't have a timetable for you. Again, it's a broad review that's expanded beyond TikTok, of course, from here. And I think what I was referencing in the beginning is the fact that there are ongoing processes through the courts, which we'd certainly send you to DOJ and others. But there's also an ongoing CFIUS review that's happening at the Department of Treasury.
You said the goal was for more than 50% of schools to have some teaching in person at least one day a week. You said you hoped it would be higher. But why is the administration setting the bar at one day a week? Why not go higher?
Well, certainly we are not planning to celebrate at 100 days if we reach that goal. That is our own effort to set our own markings, set a bold and ambitious agenda for how we're going to measure ourselves and progress. But we certainly hope to build from that, even at 100 days. And from there, our objective, the president's objectives, is for all schools to reopen, to stay open, to be open 5 days a week, for kids to be learning. That's what our focus is on. This is simply a goal for 100 days.
So, Jen, a lot of schools are already doing that. And for working parents, one day a week doesn't help a whole lot.
That's, again, the bar of where we'd like the majority of schools across the country to be, which they're not at this point in time. And we want to build from there. And it really depends. It differs from school district to school district. Part of the reason that there is funding in the American Rescue Plan is to ensure that school districts that don't have the funding they need to ensure they are equipped to reopen, to meet that bar and exceed it, are able to do exactly that.
When President Biden talked for the last couple months, particularly during the transition, about reopening schools within the first 100 days, why didn't he ever mention the small print that was just going to be for one day a week as the goal?
Well, again, the president set a goal of reopening the majority of schools within 100 days. And when you asked what that meant, I answered the question. So that is not the ceiling. That is the bar we're trying to leap over and exceed. And as I said in response to Kristen's question, the president wants to not just open schools. He wants them to stay reopened. He wants kids to be back in school learning 5 days a week. He wants parents to feel safe, teachers to feel safe. That's why he asked his Department of Education and the CDC to work together on guidelines. That's why he's proposed funding in the American Rescue Plan, because he knows that's not going to happen on its own. It's going to need some assistance to make it reality.
Is there a thought that this goal, though, that you guys are setting for the first 100 days is more of a dry run for next year? Because 100 days from January 20th, April 30th, that's when a lot of schools are getting ready to close for the year anyway.
Well, it just happens that January 20th is when every president is inaugurated, so we can't change that. And 100 days we felt was a period of time, a measurable period of time where we could set a goal, measure ourselves against, hopefully leap way past that goal. That's always our objective, and then build from there. And you're right, schools won't be in session for the summer, but this is a pandemic. We're working to get under control, making progress every month, and we're certainly hopeful that things will be, more kids will be back in school 5 days a week as quickly as it can safely happen.
And then just one more for one of our colleagues who could not be here because of social distancing guidelines. What do you say to teachers who are nervous about going back into the classroom without being fully vaccinated?
Well, we say to teachers, we want you to be able to go back to school and go back to school safely. And, the president is married to a teacher, Dr. Biden. He's known many thousands of teachers throughout his career. He listens to them. We all engage with a range of groups about their concerns, about what their objectives are. Most teachers will tell you they want to be in the classroom. And they want to be there with their students, especially of younger kids, and do that in-person learning. They want that too. They want to do it safely. We're waiting for the CDC guidelines. Those will be the first guidelines that will be coming from the federal level that will outline recommendations based on health and medical experts. We're waiting for those. We're hopeful that those will give a sense to school districts across the country on the steps that they can take to increase the safety in their schools. It will be up to school districts, but that's really the next step here. We want schools to open, but we want them to open safely, and we want teachers and parents to all feel that.